the maracas, I go chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky, boom. Hey!
Welcome to No Laughing Matter with Cuba Pete, a show that takes a critical look at the disparities between medical school education and society's growing healthcare inequities. Join Dr. Pedro Cuba Pete Greer each episode as he interviews the experts working to transform medical education and ensuring that future doctors are trained to provide equitable and compassionate healthcare for all communities. Dr. Greer received the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2009, honoring his dedication to providing health care to underserved populations. As Dean of Roseman University College of Medicine in Las Vegas, Dr. Greer is committed to creating a medical school of the future where students embrace the need to unite the heart and science of healthcare. And now, the host of No Laughing Matter with Cuba Pete, Dr. Pedro Cuba Pete Greer.
And good day, everybody. My name is Pedro Jose Greer. They call me Joe. I am the Dean at the Roseman University College of Medicine, and welcome to Cuba Pete. No Laughing Matter. What we do is we bring the most fascinating people into the studio, and we talk to them about not just their accomplishments, but the interaction of what they do with the education of medical students and healthcare in this country, because healthcare is not limited to a doctor. It's a lot of other things going on. Excuse me. I have the great honor of introducing a friend, Kimberly Trueba, who happens to be married to a Cuban guy too. So she is the CEO of the Girl Scouts of Southern Nevada since 2018, with a remarkable job of leadership, an alumna of the Girl Scouts. And also one of the very interesting things about her is she's from Kansas. And, you know, the
No place like home.
home, that's right. I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, though. And she is the daughter of also a designer. She is trained, and her degree from Kansas State University is in interior architecture. The irony is she met her husband in Orlando, if I'm not mistaken,
That is true. On a blind date.
on a blind date. However, he also went to school in Kansas.
He did all the years I was there.
That's right. But you had to meet him in Orlando. And she went to Walt Disney World as her first job as working in the Department of Imagineering, of where she went on to take leadership roles and develop all these things within the resort. Talk to me a little about that. How was that creative spirit, especially there? Because you continued that when you moved out here.
I did. I think that first job that anybody has can really be foundational. And I'll get into this later, but what I'm doing now, there's a big reason for what I'm doing now is based upon that experience, and realizing later in life that was such a gift and such an opportunity, that I wanted to share it with more people. And at the time, it was an intern. I started as an intern at Walt Disney Imagineering. Well, it was Disney Development Company at the time. And I remember going into my professor to give him an update on where I sent my resumes. And I really wanted to live in Chicago or Atlanta and work for architects in those two cities. And he said, "Oh, I think you need to expand it a little bit more and send it to somewhere else." And I go, "Like where?" And then I remember working for my father in his architecture firm, that somebody talked about working at Disney. I thought, all I knew Disney was going to the theme parks.
Right.
And so I was like, "Okay, do you know anybody at Disney?" Like, I knew he didn't, or I thought he didn't. He pulls out a business card. A student of his was the director of hotel development at Disney Development Company.
Wow.
And so I did my internship there for 7 months. They wanted me to postpone my graduation to stay and finish the Yacht and Beach Club project that was under construction. That was my project. I was responsible for all of the interior design, exterior design with Robert Stern, reviewing all of the design and signing off on it, the signage, the landscape design. It was a really incredible experience. But I went back to school because I knew that architecture school was really tough and I needed to finish. And they offered me a job before I left, and I knew where I was going to go. It was Desert Storm. I really had no idea what that meant in terms of how fortunate I was to have a job when I graduated. and I worked there for 10 years. Yeah, and Disney Development Company managed all the assets of Walt Disney World, all the land, built and unbuilt, and then they merged with Walt Disney Imagineering, um, in the middle of my 10 years there, and then I was part of the Imagineering group.
That's incredible. And then what got you to move out to Vegas?
Wow, what got me to move out to Vegas? Um, well, when I met my husband, he got a job in Denver, and we kinda had this thing where we took turns. So I helped him get his job at Disney. Then it was his turn to, go after a job, and we moved to Denver. Well, he moved, and I started commuting here. But I got here because, a dear, colleague of mine at Disney was interested in starting a design firm, and there was a firm here that, we both had been working with, and, he wanted to have a partner, and so I committed to that, and, the 2 of us ran a I worked with him, and we, worked together for 16 years here in Las Vegas, but our work only 10% of our work was here, and, the rest of it was international and other places. Mhm.
And now you're leading the formation of young women to become the future leaders of our community. And you take these young women in without prejudice.
That's correct.
The only thing is they have to be a woman
That's correct.
because it's the Girl Scouts.
Yes.
They figured that out. I went to medical school and everything. And so then in 2018, my goodness, that was 7 years ago.
I know, I just celebrated my 7 years.
What got you into the Girl Scouts? Knowing your background that you were a Girl Scout and a member of
Right, right. Well, in 2018, Girl Scouts wasn't really close to in my circle of, activities or focus. I was a Girl Scout, and the interesting thing is during around 2017, 2018, I was, I wanted more tools for my toolbox, right? Like I had been, I worked at Disney for 10 years. I was with this design firm running it with my partner and staff for 16 years. And I'm like, it's time for a new challenge. And so I really dug into why I was feeling that way. And it was something that always came out as I was always looking for uh, something courageous, and I got to the point where I wanted to come out of my comfort zone and be courageous, and it took me a little while to figure that out, and um, I wasn't looking for this position, it came to me, and I had people I'm a sucker for people saying, "Oh, you'd be good at this." So,
Well, they were 100% correct.
well, I'm sure I'm sure I do some things not great, but other things really wonderfully. And so I think everybody's like that. And I think that's where we all lean into providing grace and support and lifting people up, but being realistic about what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are. And then surrounding ourselves with people that can help complement that is really important. But no, I got it and this job opening, and I said, oh, wow. Yeah. And so I spent 2 weeks at night really studying what is it to be a CEO for Girl Scouts. And there's 111 CEOs. And I asked the headhunter if I could interview 3 CEOs. And he goes, oh my God, nobody's ever asked this. And I said, well, I need to make sure this is right. I mean, I'm leaving a career that I know everything about. And this was right in the middle towards the end of the Me Too movement. And so as I was exploring why make a change, I really honed in on about 3 things that happened in my life, that I I really didn't let affect me through my career, but when I was really digging deep as to why I would make such a change and make such a bold and courageous change, I realized those 3 instances were when someone told me I couldn't do it.
I love it. Give you a challenge, and that's it. Well, you have done a remarkable job to the extent that she has been able to acquire the largest gift ever to the Girl Scouts of any Girl Scouts in the United States of America, and that was 70 acres from the Charles and Phyllis M. Frias Charitable Trust with property and land of which you use for the Girl Scouts and retreats. Huh?
We do. We do. When I first started, first of all, it does take a team. Everything we do, it takes a team. It's not just one individual. It's the individual contributions of each person on the team to make something happen. And when I first started, what the board, oh, go ahead.
I just want to say what Kimberly just said is the perfect definition of what a leader is. And I just want to emphasize that point. I'm sorry.
Thank you. So when I first started, one of the things that the board and the CEO search committee had identified was how important it is for Girl Scouts to have a camping experience. And they have a property up in Lee Canyon that wasn't providing the programming that the girls wanted, right? So in Girl Scouts, it's really important that we always survey the girls, always survey the caregivers and the parents and the volunteers. What is it that our girls need? And that's one of the really refreshing experiences I've had through Girl Scouts is really listening to, because things change, times change, trends change, interest in girls change. And when you serve kindergarten to 12th grade, they change. And so we are constantly asking, what is it that you want? And that camp wasn't providing what they wanted. And so I knew it was going to, I was charged with, we got to get this outdoor programming back to Girl Scouts because it is so important for mental health. I mean, that was my view on it. And it is what I have witnessed for 7 years. When girls, every time I can be there when the girls are dropped off for camp to go up to Frias Frontiers, what the girls named the camp. And then when I pick them, when they get dropped off at the end, the first day when they get dropped off to leave, they're kind of grumpy. Some of them don't want to go. And I'm like, oh, what is that? It's because they're having separation anxiety from their devices because they have to turn in their device. And then when they get off the bus, they're all happy, arm in arm, new friends, feeling confident. They've tried something new. They've had a good time, and they're not asking for their phones. They're asking to go another week or to spend a little bit more time with the new friends they just made. That, to me, says success.
That says incredible success because you actually hit on the number one medical problem in this country, which is mental health.
Yes, and it's serious.
It is serious. You're 100% correct. Our kids end up being more in isolation, and particularly with their electronic devices. And it becomes important that, hey, there's a whole world out there.
Yeah.
But you said something else that's really important that my gender needs to learn. What do you want?
What do I want?
No.
Oh, yes. Asking, correct. What do you want?
And so that becomes vitally important. I think the lessons you're teaching there are incredible because I definitely would like to have some of your graduates come to my medical school.
And I think we have some graduates that would probably like to do that.
And we need them. We need them here, and we need really good people.
Yes.
One of them, of course, being your daughter, but I'm not going to mention that.
Well,
I just did.
You just did. And Ari, I want to touch on something that I have learned also through being the CEO of Girl Scouts and raising an incredible young adult through Ari's life. And that is that I've learned a lot about neurodivergent children and young adults, something that wasn't talked about, just like mental health. For a long time, there was a stigmatism and not to speak about it. And people learn differently and people have different gifts. And when they can find the people and the group that can support them and raise them up, it is so critical because people are misunderstood every day. And it just takes that right person to connect with someone and say, okay, they approach things a little differently, they act a little different, but here are the blessings and the strengths of this individual. And I think I know that that's one of the things we do at Girl Scouts, but it's certainly something I do with my own child.
I think that that's a lesson we should learn that we should do with everybody.
Absolutely.
I was educated by the Marist brothers in the Catholic Church, and they had a philosophy. even though our school academically was great, we had 5 different levels of academia for every single course. Because the brothers believe that just because you're really good in math but bad in literature doesn't mean you're any worse or any better than the one that's really good in literature and really bad in math.
Hmm?
That God has given us each a set of gifts, and it's our job to make them work together as a group. And just your words, Kimberly, come across, at least from myself, as both a parent and a grandparent. That's who I want with my granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I want her to see and say, wow, here's this incredibly successful woman that decided to take the job in a not-for-profit. Knowing there's no stress with running a not-for-profit because the income is just keeps flowing.
Yeah.
And nobody has an opinion. But for 7 years running the Girl Scouts of Southern Nevada and the job you've done, and that I can just imagine what it must feel like when you see a young lady that you had 7 years ago that now all of a sudden is going
Oh
to
my
college.
gosh, I'm so glad you bring that up because I didn't have those feelings the first 2 years because it was so new.
Right.
But you're exactly right. Each and every year around April, May, we have the highest awards where we recognize our graduating seniors and the girls that have earned their bronze, silver, and gold awards, which are projects that they've given back into the community because our promise in law is to make the world a better place. And those 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 projects are based in that. And when you see them on stage and their video of the project that they've done and the impact that they've made, it's like, oh my gosh, I remember when they were hiding behind their troop leader's leg, super shy and not wanting to like engage. And now they're like standing there with such courage and confidence and incredible character. And I can't stress enough what youth organizations can do for young children.
And you take you could be a Girl Scout regardless of your socioeconomic status, correct?
Absolutely. We provide assistance. There are ways to come in. I think there's a misconception that people think it's a club. It may not be for everyone, but it certainly is a place. What I hear over and over again with girls that are there, and there are girls that do sports and they're like Girl Scouts is important. They're learning durable skills for a lifetime. It's a lifetime of leadership. That's our tagline, lifetime of leadership. And when they learn them young, it stays with them forever. So sports we know last a certain amount of time. But what do you do after that, right? Theater, singing, and I think that's one of the things that I certainly have learned as an adult now is through my life, it's reinventing yourself at times, right? Developing as many skills as you can and dreaming about the possibilities all through your life and not like 50 years ago, right? This is going to be my career and this is going to be my career for the rest of my life. It's not like that anymore. We have to shift and we have to change. And I think providing that encouragement and saying it's okay, that's actually good.
Right.
Harness all your energy and harness all your dreams and skills and you'll have a fabulous future.
So if I'm out there listening to this right now and knowing that you're producing the core of what our society is, and future medical students, I want to just throw that out
Yes.
there.
Yes.
How do I help your organization?
How do you help us? So there's many ways. And we have girls that are on waiting lists that want to be part of Girl Scouts for a number of reasons. One, they may have moved here and they don't have any friends. It's a great way to make friends. They want to learn more. They want to have an all-girl environment, so not the pressures from the boys are being teased. We have a lot of robust STEAM programming and opportunities, with
We-
partnerships like Roseman
So
and
we did our STEAM event with you.
you did, and that was incredible. And it's really leaning in and having those opportunities. But the way you can get involved, because we have girls on waiting lists, and the way it's run is that there are troops. So girls are a part of groups, and they have to be, they're led by adults. It's girl led, but there still has to be adults. And because we're dealing with youth, we do need to have trained and trained meaning in CPR and safety checkpoints so that the girls are safe. But we need to have we need more troop leaders. We need more adults that want to give back to the community, because I lost my mom at 22, and the one thing that that resonates is, I can't remember who it was that told me this, but you know, you hear it a lot. It takes a village to raise a child, and it's so true. And that's how I raised my children. I didn't isolate them. I exposed them to people so that they could develop their own personality and their own interests with the guidance of the family. We don't. There's a lot of children that don't have, both parents, or they may be in foster care, or they may be homeless, or they may be
Or,
um,
particularly losing one of the parents post-COVID.
correct, living with their grandparents, or two parents that work, which is certainly fine. But it does take a village. I worked, my husband worked, and so I realized that it was important, the adults that my kids were around. My daughter was in Girl Scouts, and I have a greater appreciation for the troop leaders, because they are giving of their time, because they're volunteering to lead girls and make sure that they are given an opportunity to express themselves and experience things that they may not otherwise experience.
I see that because my daughter is a professional. She's an attorney, and she does public interest law, so it's not high financial reward, but high emotional reward. And her husband works also. He's a director producer at Telemundo.
Oh, yeah.
So
You're telling me that.
they both work, and they have a daughter.
Mhm.
So talking about a village, a lot of times my wife flies back to Miami if my daughter's got to travel somewhere, and he's up working long shifts. So it takes a village, it takes a family, it takes everybody.
Community.
It takes community. And that's vitally important, because that's our mission also. We're community dependent, not community engaged. Because then somebody said, "Why do you say that?" I said, "You can be engaged for so long, you either get married or you don't." You know what I mean? You can't keep stretching that out. So you need volunteers. How about if somebody wants to give you some money?
We'd love that. We'd love that. The money does definitely help. It keeps, our Girl Scouts has been around for 114 years.
Wow.
And they have shown up in spaces where there's been the most help needed. And we here in Las Vegas have been around. The first troop was founded in Boulder City, and we are celebrating our 94 years.
Oh, wow.
So to sustain in a time that's more difficult, it's more difficult um, to get funding. Nonprofits are all having a challenge. Investing, I consider it investing in young girls, and investing in our youth. That's how I look at it. It's investing in youth. And, if you could give, also, you're investing in young children that are going to be productive citizens in the future and make a difference and be a philanthropist themselves or community leader.
And I think something even more important, because it is the Girl Scouts. They become mothers.
Yes, they do.
They become sisters.
Yes.
And for all of us we all have a mother.
Hmm.
A lot of us have sisters. I have daughters as well. And my wife, that we've been married 45 years, she says it's the best 3 years of her life, but we're working on that. And she thinks I have earning potential, so that works out real well too. But you're not just developing future leaders. You're developing in the world and in the industry, but they're the leaders that lead the growth of a child.
Yes, that's true.
So
Mm.
you're preparing a woman to do a job that a man can't do, and that's motherhood. Okay. And parenting and all the other things that you guys do so much better than we do. We try. And we need to support that. We need to know that the future leadership, as of right now, we understand how important women are. 52% of medical students in this country are women.
Mm-hmm.
Recent reports that have come out in the New England Journal is, you guys make better doctors. You listen.
Correct.
You're empathetic.
Yes.
And then the one that really upset me was, you're even better surgeons.
Yes.
Okay.
So interesting you bring that up. Since I've been there for 7 years, I so appreciate the families and the girls that share with me copies of their college acceptance, their scholarship acceptance. where they cite that because they were a Girl Scout, because they worked on their Gold Award project, because they made a difference in their community, that stood out over others, and they've gotten scholarships and they've gotten
That's me.
into colleges that they want to get into. They come with a leadership, they come with confidence, they come with courage, and they come with character. And so they are also students that are going to finish, right? And if they don't finish, they find the path where they can finish where they want to be. And so I think that's really critical.
Now being in Nevada, Las Vegas,
Las Vegas.
is that we need to improve the care and the health outcomes of this community.
Mm-hmm.
You are doing the most incredible job in helping prevent mental disease, mental illness.
I appreciate that. It's our entire team.
And that is a vitally important, because that affects the life of an individual and their trajectory and those around them, and even the possibility of they becoming productive citizens. So we need to address issues when issues come up, not ignore them. And that's why we need to support organizations like the Girl Scouts of Southern Nevada.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Because that's not their job. But on the other hand, that is their job. So you're helping the whole medical community by doing this, and that's just incredible to me.
Oh, thank you.
So what's your website so somebody can get on there and just give you some money? And give money, folks.
Oh, you're so sweet. It's girlscoutsenvy.org. And you can go on there and you can learn about us. You can sign up to be a troop leader. You can sign up your girl to be in Girl Scouts. You can donate. We have our big gala coming up September 13th. It's our 15th year, Dessert Before Dinner, where we honor incredible trailblazing women and men. We have a man each year. It's good enough to be a Girl Scout, so or man enough to be a Girl Scout, and so it's men who do, like you said, recognize that the importance of having women in the field and at the table, because I think that synergy is so important, because we look at things differently and collectively together.
At the table and equally at the table, and that's the way it should be. And with that, I have the great pride of saying my friend, Kimberly Trueba, who runs the Girl Scouts of Southern Nevada, does this incredible job. And once again, proving my culture, Cubans, we know how to marry up.
Thank you, Dr. Greer.
And so, as my wife is also Irish-American, and so it's funny. So I say I'm Cuban-Irish. I'm from one poor, small, corrupt Catholic island to another.
I would be remiss if I don't say this again. I really mean it. It takes more than just one person to make change. And affecting one life matters, one at a time. And we're doing that. We're doing that every day. And it's our staff, it's our volunteers, it's our parents, and it's our board, and it's our community. And it really takes it all to make it happen.
And listen to those words, because they are true, and it's something that we need to follow. And today, you got to see and to hear one of the most brilliant individuals I've ever met in my life. Not only is the left side of the brain, but the right side of the brain, the creativity, the leadership, being able to do all this. Your parents did a great job.
Thank you.
And with that, this is Cuba Pete here at our own studios with Santi. And till next time, please give to the Girl Scouts. Number one. Number two, do not forget this lady. She's too important in our community, and her gifts and what she has given us have made our society and our community better. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe, like, and comment on your favorite podcast platform. If you'd like to support the groundbreaking work that Dr. Greer is doing at the Roseman University College of Medicine, please donate at the link below. Thanks for tuning in to No Laughing Matter with Cuba Pete, as together we work to unite the heart and science of healthcare to serve all in our communities. See you next time.